But I was in the
This will be where the stage is, so we're going to... A great guy, please welcome Mr. Rick Roberts! Thank you. I read in the Global Mail a couple days ago about a slaughter of elephants in Zimbabwe when poachers poured cyanide into the drinking water and salted the wells of that the elephants used to drink. And 91 at the last count elephants were killed in this way. And they were killed for their tusks. Now, Ivory, someone's got the article right over here, so if you have very good eyesight, you could read it right now. As we know that elephants are killed for their tusks, for their ivory, which has long been banned by international law. So the only access to ivory is through illegal poaching in Africa. Please welcome Angie Seth.
We are gathered here to protest the illegal ivory trade that is killing off elephants in Africa and helping to fund terrorism. Come join us. Come out for a walk. This is an extremely important cause. This is the first global march for another species in the history of humankind. Ultimately, the loss of elephants would affect us all, whether it's emotionally, financially, or environmentally. They are one of the world's most intelligent species, expressing behaviors associated with grief, play, compassion, self-awareness, and language. Often referred to as the gardeners of Africa, plants and other animals are dependent on elephants for survival, from spreading seeds to sculpting habitats such as grasslands and scrublands. They play a leading role in tourism, which brings with it essential income for families and entire nations. So the livelihoods of millions of people will be affected if they are lost. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Elizabeth Abbott.
Thank you very much. Last night I heard a story about an elephant who stood up for other elephants. It happened in Malaysia, where trains routinely slam into elephant herds who are crossing the train track. And in this particular case, an elephant family was crossing the train track, and the little baby elephant was a bit slow, and despite the villagers signaling to the train driver to slow down, he did not, and the baby was hit and killed. The next day, at the same time when the train was coming by, a bull elephant in that family went out on the track, and he stood right on the track, facing the train, and he roared up. He went back on his hind legs, and he roared, and you knew what he was saying. No, you killed that other elephant. And the train driver still refused to stop and slammed into that elephant and killed him. As a result of which, he stood up for elephants, and there was so much protest by villagers and the international organizations that a law was passed about slowing down and the need for train signals and so on. That elephant lost his life, but he stood up for elephants, just as we are trying to do today. In this particular case, for elephants who were killed for their tusks. In the first 6 months of 2013, poachers killed 190 elephants, and they killed 2 forest rangers who were trying to protect them. This is a fight that could only be won if we stand up for elephants and lobby our government representatives. Otherwise, within a decade, elephants will be a bitter memory, the most wondrous of all species to disappear from the planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. He's a Kenyan Canadian who's a social change advocate. He's passionate about wildlife, and he has committed himself to creating awareness on poaching. Please welcome Michael Karanja.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. We are here to petition. We are here to voice our concern. We are here to create awareness of the need to ban ivory trade and stop elephant poaching. Imagine this: 1 elephant every 15 minutes. 1 elephant every 15 minutes. As long as ivory is valued as a commodity, Every elephant is at risk from poachers, and only where anti-poaching efforts are sufficient will elephants survive. Anti-poaching costs money and lives. Making the ivory trade illegal has been the single most effective and economical way to slow and end the loss of elephant across their habitat, and not just where they can be protected by anti-poaching units. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Let us all, therefore, resolve one thing. Ivory belongs to only one animal, the elephant. Thank you.
We have a number of amazing speakers who I'm very honored to introduce. Our next speaker, Daniel Nicastro, is a restoration architect, archaeologist involved with UNESCO regional centers in Iraq and Africa, wildlife and environmental activist on Kenyans for Wildlife, and he's worked for Conservation Services and Parks Canada. He's the ex-vice chairman of the Toronto Historical Board. He's a St. Michael's College School grad with some insight on Kenya, elephants, poaching, and the economic and moral challenges of all involved nationally and internationally. And we are very honored that he's joining us today just before he returns to Kenya. He's going to be heading back there shortly. So put your hands together for Daniel.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you could show up. Remember, every 2 tusks equals 1 dead elephant. And this morning in Mombasa, a new container was discovered proceeding from Uganda with an unknown number of tusks inside. The pictures are posted in Kenyan for Wildlife on Facebook. Now, China is the biggest market, and it has to step up to the plate. The US is starting. Now, to help us to fight this, there's a few things you can do. And one is join some organization, help fund the activities of some organization. However, when you do that, make sure you vet the organization. Make sure they're accountable, that they're transparent, and they have a program to which they apply their money. One of the things that Sheldrick does is it rescues elephants, and that's an expensive proposition because you have to fly in a team and you have to fly the baby elephants out. But the other thing that needs funding in Kenya is the mobile veterinary units. And they not only help the wounded elephants, but they also help all the wounded wildlife. Because we do have snaring, and if people don't use guns, they still use poison arrows and poison spears. And then there's a problem of tracking and curing these animals. So that is money that could be well spent. I'll be returning to Kenya next week, and hopefully things will get better. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. She writes and directs in a broad range of forms and has won a Grammy nomination, an Emmy, and the PEN Screenwriters Award. Please welcome Patricia Rosemont.
As many of you know, elephants grieve the deaths of their loved ones. They bury them and become quiet. Sometimes, if they're very close, they actually show signs of depression. I find this beautiful. They've even been known to perform burials for dead human bodies that they've happened upon. This capacity for grief, this compassion, this respect, this fact alone makes me respect them and grieve their injury and abuse and death. Linda Bronfman, who is central in you being here and me being here, and is an amazing force in our community, and we should thank and applaud her. She was telling me that many countries have stockpiles of ivory that are supposedly legal, that they're acquired legally, and then they sneak in illegally acquired ivory and they pass it off as the same. So the only answer is, in fact, to eliminate any kind of, financial trade for any ivory. Thank you very much. I applaud you all for braving the skies and coming out to support our fellow creatures. Right.
Our next speaker, Shelly Carroll, is the City Councillor for Ward 33, Don Valley East. She was first elected in 2003. She's been a long-time friend and advocate for elephants and was the first Toronto City Councillor to promote sending the elephants held at the Toronto Zoo to a sanctuary in California.
Thank you. You're signing petitions today, you're marching today, and there are young people here who probably said to their moms, why are we doing this? Does this work? Does this really work? Okay, we're talking about baby elephants. Well, I'm here to tell you, baby people, it works. Across that hall, Miguel will tell you, the zoo board would not even talk about this. They've kept pretending that they had not received 5,000 emails from bona fide Torontonians who know that it's wrong to have those elephants standing there in the winter. They pretended they hadn't even received those emails. All I had to do was enter that petition into the public record to make this a matter of public urgency. And then politics took hold, and politics said, 5,000 of you? Oh, that's a growing number. There's nothing scarier than a growing number of humans. And the more you grow, the faster it works. So while you're marching today, and we got to get marching soon, you're out there saying to everyone who's come out to get lunch, make your lunch hour count. Just drop everything and march with us. The bigger the crowd, the faster this is going to work. Thank you so much for coming out. Don't leave without sending that signature, because it works. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
In addition to his extensive legal practice and advocacy, he is editor of the Canadian Rights Reporter and was made a member of the Order of Canada. Please welcome Clayton Ruby.
Our mistreatment of elephants is not just wrong, it is in fact barbaric. Elephants are amongst the most socially complex, interesting, advanced mammals that the planet has to show. They, like humans, are the most social of mammals, and they live in very complex societies where mothers, daughters, granddaughters, sisters, and female cousins retain close relationships for life. These social qualities are rarely found and only in a few mammal species. I'm really proud that Toronto City Council recently decided to send Toronto's elephants to the Paws Sanctuary in California. And I want to say thank you to everybody who worked for that result. The buyers of elephant ivory are in America and China. We create the demand for the illegal ivory trade. If poachers couldn't expect profits from ivory, they would not kill elephants. We've got to drive that point home, and the best way to do it at this point, in this place, and this time, is to march for the elephants. Thank you.
And we're going to lead out. The march will go straight down this walkway, and then we'll make a right, and we'll lead chant, and thank you for joining us.
What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want?
Save the elephants!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, thank you. Pause for the elephant! Woo!
Thank you so much.
Thank you. What do we want? Slaves elephants. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Stop the killing. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? End of the ivory trade. What do we want? Now. What do we want? Stop the killing. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? End of the ivory trade. Now.
Say no to ivory! Say no to ivory!
Say no to ivory. Say no to ivory.
What do we want?
Save the elephants.
I'm in the wrong side.
Now. What do we want? When do we want it?
Say no to ivory!
The other guy who was here, I don't know if you saw him down, we had a No, he's the same.